In this episode of Rich in Relationship, what is your greatest asset in life? If you ask most people, what is your greatest asset? They'll say maybe their kids, their family, or they might say their business, or they might say my mind. And honestly, those are all important assets. But when it comes to the business life, much less the business of business, the greatest asset is your partnership. And if you don't have one, then listen up, because there's some huge strengths of partnerships that are so taken for granted. Your partnership is what creates safety and nurturing in your family. Your partnership is what creates growth and forward motion in your business. Everything else grows from there. And could you parent on your own? Absolutely, people do it all the time. Can you run a business on your own? All the time. But in partnership, there is the possibility, I want you to hear this, the possibility for synergy that cannot happen on your own. Synergy is when two things come together and create more energy together than they might if you combined their two individual energies. So you getting what I'm saying? Synergy is something exponentially greater than what two individuals can create, even working in harmony, not in partnership. Imagine you're climbing a mountain tied to another person, right? Safety line to each other. If one climber pulls ahead of the other and pulls the other one up, they both benefit. If one slips, the other one's there to catch them. The marital contract, let's just talk about that for a second. The basis of the marital contract is, yeah, you're going to love each other forever and ever, and it's going to be romantic, but that's not the basis. The basis of the marital contract is that you have engaged in an agreement to help each other be the best people you possibly can. The why is because you love each other. But the contract itself is about helping you both be your best selves in a way that cannot happen individually, that can only happen in a partnership. It's that synergy I was talking about. And when people enter into business together, to some extent, that's a very similar contract. If they're married, of course that contract carries through to the business. But to all you partners out there who aren't married to each other, I want you to get that your job in business is to help one another perform as best as possible within that business, whether you're married or not. You're not just climbing beside each other, you're climbing because of each other. There's something about that partnership that's inspiring. There are strengths you both have that you couldn't find anywhere else. You're climbing because of each other, and most couples spend years investing everything around the partnership. I'm talking about around the partnership, the house, the kids, the business, retirement, vacations, but very few intentionally invest in the partnership itself. And that's what I'm here to talk with you about, investing in the partnership. They assume if everything else goes well, our relationship will naturally take care of itself. It's a human doing approach as opposed to a human being. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute, because unfortunately, the opposite is usually true. When the partnership thrives, everything else gets stronger. But when they focus on everything else, the partnership itself can be weakened, because partnerships need to be nurtured. They are living things, separate from, and yet, I was going to say, divinely connected to the two individuals who engage in it. When I first started working with Brad and Gwen, and just get that Brad and Gwen is a name that I use to describe all my clients for their protection, they came to us convinced that they were having business problems. Growth had stalled, communication was strained. Every discussion became about fixing the company. But after a few sessions, it became obvious the business wasn't the only issue. It was that their partnership was running on empty. They had stopped paying attention to each other. They'd stopped celebrating wins. They stopped asking, how can I make your week easier? They become excellent parallel co-workers, but very poor partners. And I want to be really clear, Brad and Gwen are married, but there are tons of partners out there who have slipped into this parallel track. They've become weak partners. So we shifted the focus. Brad stopped trying to solve every people problem that came in front of him. Gwen stopped forcing herself to love operational work because that was keeping them in totally separate tracks. Now, I wanted you to know that ownership is important, and they did that part really well. After a few sessions, it became obvious that the business wasn't the only problem. The symptoms in the business were symptoms of weaknesses in the partnership itself. They hadn't been nurturing their partnership. What do I mean by that? That even though they had achieved a level of ownership in the business, of their roles, of their strengths, they hadn't been supporting each other in those strengths, right? You might remember in an earlier episode, we talked about how there needs to be ownership, communication, and collaboration. Communication is more like informing, right? What was happening was there was no or little collaboration going on, some informing going on. And so the partnership itself was suffocating, right? And the thing is, when one partner goes to another with their strengths, when Brad started going to Gwen and asking for help in his area of strength and getting feedback, she's able to direct Brad on how to be more nuanced in his people skills, right? He was all about managing the people, managing the customers, managing the employees. She saw things that he didn't see. And when Gwen started going to Brad with some of the operational challenges she was experiencing, Brad is now in a position to tell her what the reverberations are of some of the choices she was making very much independently of him. That's synergy, right? Synergy is together, you see more than either of you can see alone. Synergy is, let me lean into your strength with some of mine and help your strength expand exponentially. Not only were they working from their own strengths, they were working from each other's strengths. That's what I'm talking about here, the synergy of partnership. One of my greatest business lessons came from working with my mom. You've all heard something about that. One of my greatest business lessons came from working with my mom. If you've been tracking Rich in Relationship lately, you've heard something about that. We actually worked well together when we worked well together, but mostly we stayed in our own lanes, which meant that we were avoiding conflict, right? And the reason was, she's my mom, I'm her son. She'd gotten divorced. I'd chosen to live with my dad as an adolescent. There was a lot of unresolved emotion on both sides that we were afraid, rightly so, we were afraid was going to seep into business. So we would just avoid each other. And that was kind of sad because she was extraordinary with clients. She was doing the role that Brad was talking about. She was a great salesperson, but she could have used a better understanding of the operational side of things because she was also doing the pricing. And the truth is, if you're pricing work with clients and you don't understand the operational side, you run the risk of underpricing. And I was rock solid at operations, but sometimes I would lose sight of the quality, right? And because she shared the vision of the client, right? She knew what the level of quality was supposed to be. I was always looking for the least expensive way to get it done. She was always looking for the best way, the best for the client way to get it done. And somewhere, if we'd learned to work better together, we might have delivered really quality work cost effectively. I mean, there isn't a more winning combination than that. And honestly, I believe that if we had learned how to disagree well, if we hadn't been so afraid of conflict, that we would have created something unique, different, and better than what we actually had created individually. And the failure of that relationship is part of what shapes how I think about partnerships today. I wish I could tell you, yeah, where you got a coach and we worked it all out. I wish we had gotten a coach. So what I learned from that and what I want you to take from that and from the experience I've had working with all the Brads and Gwens out there is, it's not about finding someone just like you. In fact, if your partner's different from you, oh, brava. Because leaning into each other's strengths is what creates something new and different. Nothing new has ever come out of sameness. Think about it. If everything's the same, what opportunity for new is there? Something different has to happen for something new and exciting. And so that's why I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you every day. You're either investing in your partnership or withdrawing from it. And interaction is investing in it. I'm going to tell you, transparency here. My script says encouragement is a deposit. That's true. Criticism is a withdrawal. That's not true. All right. Criticism can be a withdrawal, but criticism, difference, giving a wider or different perspective is actually a huge deposit. Script needs to be adjusted, so we're adjusting it. If we can be critical without criticizing the person, that's when it becomes a deposit. If we are criticizing the person without being critical, then it's a withdrawal. Really important distinction, right? And the trick in a truly successful partnership is the ability to do that. Taking the other person for granted, definitely a withdrawal. Celebrating wins, always a deposit. Keeping score, meaning taking the other person's inventory without looking at your own, definitely a withdrawal. The strength of partnership, whether it's marriage or business or both, is determined by the balance in that account. There is a relationship account that you're either building up or reducing, and many of you are at a deficit. Great partnerships help each other to live their purpose. Great partnerships know each other's strengths. Great partnerships acknowledge their limitations and ask each other for help. Great partnerships celebrate differences instead of trying to erase them. Great partnerships ask, how can I make my partner stronger today? Because when your partner wins, you both win. And I want to be really clear. I'm not talking about differences in values. Great partnerships are founded on the same values. They may be in a different sequence, but they're the same. Great partnerships are grounded in a shared vision. Great partnerships are grounded in a similar or same mission. Great partnerships do have room for disagreement in how to get there, though, or interpretation of values, principle, mission, vision, etc. Great partnerships build great families and great businesses. They lead to better parenting, healthier leadership, deeper friendships. The partnership is the foundation for everything exponentially, creatively amazing. Or it becomes a black hole sucking the life out of everything around it, depending on how you treat it. Everything else is built on top of it. So ask yourself, where have I been investing lately? The script says we, right? But we're not going to go with we, because when I ask myself, where has my wife, Katherine, been investing today? And if I'm feeling insecure, it's never in me, right? If I'm feeling secure, she's been investing in me. So it's not about them, it's about us. We take our own inventory. Where have I been investing? Am I investing in my own self-care? Am I investing, what comes after caring for myself? My partnership. Because there's synergy in partnership. And after partnership, freaking kids every time. Because the two of us can do a better job with them than the two of us together can do a better job with the kids than the two of us focused on them separately, parallel. And certainly our house, our future, our business, everything is so much more amazing. So I'm going to ask you one more question. When was the last time that we invested in us? The last time that you both invested in us? People often ask me the secret to building a prosperous family business. Well, they're usually expecting me to talk about money. They're usually expecting me to go off on some Dave Ramsey track about what to do with your money. And that is awesome stuff. But that is not how you build a truly prosperous business, because a truly prosperous family business is not just about the money. It's about the relationships, the systems that build relationships. It's the systems that support leadership. I always will tell you, protect your partnership first and above all else, except maybe charging your own battery, and then you charge each other's battery. Have each other's back. Help each other to become more fully yourselves. Remember, right? The agreement is to be your best selves. You feed that partnership so you can be your best selves, because your partnership gets stronger when you come from that place. Your family gets stronger. Your business gets stronger. Your children will get stronger. Everything you're trying to build gets stronger. Your partnership isn't just another part of your life. It is your greatest asset. Hey, again, if you like what you're hearing here, like, subscribe, share, and in the meantime, have an amazing day and a fantastic tomorrow.